Take my word for it. The Russians have so many T-72 tanks that we can't even imagine the real figure. Then the question is why they do it. I explained everything to you. The Russians have captured a very large territory. Just take a look. It's a very large territory. It's more than 4 districts. Kherson district, Zaporozhye district, Donetsk district, Lugansk district, part of Kharkiv district. It's like 5 districts. According to the latest data, they captured a little more than 20% of the territory of Ukraine. And therefore, they need to control this entire territory for many reasons. Because Ukrainians, we know that Ukrainians always send their sabotage groups, their commandos, their spies, everybody. They try to send everybody to this territory just for many purposes. To destroy the support lines, supply lines, to kill important people like governors, like generals, and like commanders, and so on. And they need to keep troops not only on the front line. We know that it's suicide if the Russians have the forces only on the front line. But also, they need to provide high-quality protection of rear positions, supply lines, and important infrastructure facilities. And the only one way to control this territory is to set up roadblocks everywhere. Of course, no one is going to use T-72 modern tanks and equipment for these purposes. Of course, the best way to organize the checkpoints is a few soldiers and a tank that has a machine gun, a cannon, a military radio, and other equipment. Also in this tank, soldiers can hide, gain a foothold with him, and so on. Moreover, the Russians sent an upgraded version of the T-62 tank to Ukraine. Moreover, this is not a heavy tank, but an average one, and it's perfectly suitable for organization control of this territory. So this is the reason why the Russians send the T-62 tanks. They want to control this area, and they, as we discussed before, they try to save their soldiers. The Ukrainians, they are very effective with their sabotage operation, with their commandos operation. So it's just like a step to protect their soldiers, to protect the territory. And of course, if you were the Ukrainian commandos and you were sent to this territory, one situation when you're moving at night and you see just 5 soldiers and maybe some of them are sleeping, it's much more easy to kill them, and it's very good operation for these commandos. But another situation when you're moving and there is a tank and there is a soldier in the tank and you won't be able to get inside of this tank. So this is the reason why the Russians send these T-62 tanks to the Ukrainian territory, just to control and to make this control much effective than this control right now. Now let's talk about Liman. As we all know, Liman has fallen. The West Sources map has been updated. As you see, the Liman is under the red line, around red color. That means that Liman is under the Russians. According to the Russian sources map, the area of control of Liman is much bigger. Not the red one is almost the same, but the Russians moved their gray line. You see this gray line? That means that this is the gray zone, that the heavy clashes are there, and the Russians are trying to push Ukrainians from this side of the river towards their position on another side of Seversky Donetsk River. So there is nothing to update, just we see that even the West Sources map shows much more than the Russian sources map. That means that they know more than the Russians. The only area that is still under Ukrainian control is the area between Stary Karavan and Ozerny. And this is a very important area, so we can mark this territory. It's like something like fortified territory, and Ukrainians are here. This is like the only place that the Russians are not attacking right now, but I think that they will do this, and in the very near future, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe by the end of this weekend, who knows. But let's discuss this area because we have like the end of the week, and if you mentioned that the Russians, they start very effectively and very aggressive every Monday, they achieve a lot of success every Monday, they capture a lot of territory every Monday, and after that they start to clear this area around the territory they captured. And by the Sunday and Saturday, there are not much updates, not many updates regarding areas, regarding the territory. They're trying to consolidate success these days. So that's mean that by the end of this weekend, I think, my opinion, that the Russians will try to establish control over the entire territory on this side of Severski Donetsk River. This is important task for them because they know that starting the next week there will be another operation, another situation on the front lines. So by the end of this week they need to clear this territory. The same situation with this area. I think that this weekend the Russians will try to attack this territory and will try to push Ukrainians from this area. I think that there are the same rearguard forces on this zone, and the main position, their main option is to wait as much as possible Ukrainians from this territory, because the Russians have captured this area, but there are a lot of Ukrainian soldiers in the forces, in the forest, in between buildings, everywhere, and they're trying to retreat, trying to move from this area and not being captured by the Russians towards this position. So it's like rear guard, and as soon as they understand that they managed to save a lot of Ukrainians, they will leave this territory as well towards Mykolaiivka, Starodubivka, Ruskinovka и Kryvoluka. So my opinion that the Russians will establish control over this bridgehead by the end of this weekend or in Monday or Tuesday of the next week. Now let's take a look at the battle situation in Liman area. This is our Liman. This is Liman in the right corner. This is Liman. Yes, you see, I think that you can recognize this building, this town. And you see these red points. This is the fire. This picture was made today. Or maybe no. This picture was made yesterday in the very night, in the very evening. And as you can see, the main fire is not even in the Liman. There is a small few dots of fire in the city, but the main fire is in the west part and the southwest part of this town. So if you take a look at this map, we can say that the main fire is here and the main fire is here. This is the areas the Ukrainians are trying to use as the evacuation roads. This is one evacuation road and this is another evacuation pipeline in this area. So you see that the Russians were bombing their evacuation process, and this is about Liman. If we take a look at the top, this area, this is our Svetogorsk area. And this is Svetogorsk, and if you take a look at the map, you see that Svetogorsk is also under heavy bombing, just Svetogorsk. If you see, for example, town Yarova is not under fire, just Svetogorsk. And this is this bag is the second step of this Liman operation. As soon as the Russians establish control over this bridgehead, like till this river, you see this river Nitrius, that split this territory in two parts, the Russians will start their second stage of this operation. They will start to attack the Svetogorsk through Yarova. They will start to attack the town Priship. They will start to attack town Sidorove. They will start to attack the town Bogorodichne. And the main idea, of course, more than that, the town Studionak. If you take a look at the Russian sources map, we can see that Alexandrovka is under the Russian control, and we talked about that a long time ago. So let's update it according to the Russian sources map. So Alexandrovka is under the Russians, and they will attack Sosnovy from Alexandrovka. I think that the beginning of the next week we're gonna see another Ukrainian defeat in this area. It won't be defeat. Let's say the truth. It won't be defeat. I understand that the Ukrainians, as soon as they lost position in Liman, they will retreat from these positions. But the only thing that I don't know if they have already prepared another fortified line, another defending line in this area. So we can say that in the beginning of the next week, the Russians are going to finish with this, and the main idea of the Russians for the next week on this part of front line? Of course, to establish something like this. So this will be the further front line, maybe by the end of the next week. So they will establish control over this line. They will capture this forest. This is, by the way, Izum. This is the Izum bridgehead, and we discussed many times that the Russians were waiting the result of this operation, and as far as you can see, we have a result. We have a very nice result for the Russians. So that's why they can start their offensive operations towards Svetogorsk and offensive operation of encirclement of this group of Ukrainians, and to establish another front line here between these two rivers, the Seversky Donetsk River and these lakes, like a few lakes in this area. So this is the further front line, and this will be the task for the next week. More than that, now we see that as soon as they do this, we can say that the Izum flank, the right flank, the left flank of Izum group is safe, and the Russians will be able to start their offensive operation towards Barvinkovo, and to start their encirclement operation and attack towards Slaviansk. As soon as the Russians are able to establish control over this small back, this group will be able to start their offensive operation. We know that there are 20,000 of Russian soldiers just on this bridgehead, but one note, we remember that in Izum, on this bridgehead, above this river, there is a Ukrainian group that locates in this town, and they are still trying to cross the Seversky Donetsk River in this area. And in the morning Russian military report, we heard and we saw that the Russians destroyed another pontoon bridge in this area. So the Ukrainians, they're still trying to do this, but we'll see what's next, because as far as I understand, in a week, maybe in two, we're gonna see the final, but not the final, but very big battle in this area between Izum group, Russian Izum group, that has 20,000 of soldiers, and Ukrainian group that located in this area. It will be very interesting, and it will be a very important battle. So let's take a look at this area one more time. So this is Izum, this is Limandet, has almost fall, and let's move towards Severodonetsk. More bad news is coming from Severodonetsk. According to the latest update of the governor of this area, he told that the Russians controlled 60% of the edge of the border of the city. If you remember, yesterday we drew some lines, like according to the map that was prepared by the locals. But today the governor confirmed these words, this map, that the Russians established control for more than 60% of this territory. So let's discuss what are we planning to see the next week. Of course, the Russians, according to the Russian sources map, they have already established control over the Rubizhnoye, over the entire Rubizhnoye. But the West sources map, they don't want to color this area, but let's update this just for better understanding of the situation according to the Russian sources. And this is the Severodonetsk. So we can say that, at least for now, the Russians have control over 60% of the edge of the border of this town. So exactly as we drew it yesterday. So it's maybe a little bit less than 60%, but it's just a picture for better understanding. And more than that, official military authority of Lugansk People Republic, this is Lugansk People Republic on the east side of Ukraine, he announced that this group in Severodonetsk is already encircled and that this is already a cauldron. A lot of Russian Telegram channels start to repeat this piece of news, but I can't say that this is a cauldron. This is operational tactical encirclement, I can say, maybe even operational encirclement. I will explain to you why. First of all, this bridge is the only bridge that left. this one. But according to his words, this bridge is under total fire control. And if they have control in this area, that means that the Ukrainians can't use this bridge for supplying and supporting this area. This is the second bridge. This bridge was destroyed by the Russian artillery, so the Ukrainians can't use this bridge. And there is a third bridge, this one. This bridge is not destroyed, but this bridge is very damaged. And on this map, on the Russian sources map, they're providing this picture of this destroyed bridge. There is some video on Telegram, you can find it, and this picture shows the bridge. I can say that the soldiers can use this bridge, but for example, if we are talking about the heavy armament equipment, it's pretty dangerous to use this bridge. And if you are trying to use this bridge at the same time, for example, for 3 tanks, I think that this bridge can be ruined with these 3 tanks because it's very damaged. So this is the point of this official governor, official military authority of Lugansk People Republic. But let's discuss the goals for the next week. By the end of this week, I think that the Russians will try to establish better control and better situation in the suburbs in the edge of Severodonetsk. Today there was a confirmed update that by the both sides that the Russians established control over this building. This is the hotel. This is the hotel. It's right on the edge. As you see, it's a very nice position. It's a very big building. So if you're controlling this building, that means that you can control a lot of territory around this building. You see that small houses, small buildings, and a very big hotel right on the edge with nice infrastructure and so on. So the Russians, it confirmed by the both sides, established control over this hotel. We know that there were clashes near the bus stations, so we'll see what's next. So by the end of this week, I think that the Russians will try to establish the better control of this territory more. They will try to force Ukrainians to surrender because they're working on this direction. They're trying to force them, and that's it by the end of the week. I don't think that the Russians will be able to achieve more success by Sunday. Of course, only if the Ukrainians are going to surrender, it will be like the best success, but for now, I think that they're not planning to do this. So let's speak about the goals for the next week. The main direction of their offensive operation will be Mitolkine. It's not a big town. And Voronovo with its Severodonetsk airport. More than that, some sources are saying that this Severodonetsk airport is already under the Russian control. But I didn't got any confirmation of this information from any resources, neither West resources or the Russian sources. I think that this airport is in the gray zone, but we'll see what's next. So the main idea and the main goal for the Russians for the next week is to split this territory in many pieces. First, they will attack towards this airport and they will try to establish control between these lakes, between this water and this forest. They will try to establish control over the Voronovo, and this will split Borivsky on one side and Severodonetsk on the other side. According to the latest update, there are around 11,000 of Ukrainian soldiers just in this area. This is from Privilye towards Lysychansk, Borivsky, Sirotiny, Seversk. This area, this entire small cauldron, has 11,000 of Ukrainian soldiers and around 4,000 in area Zolotoye-Girske. Maybe a few thousand, maybe a few hundreds even in this area, maybe 1,000. So this is the reserves that Lysychansk agglomeration has. So this is the goals that the Russians will try to achieve by the end of this week. So they have just 2 days for that, and this is the thing that they're planning to achieve during the next week. By the way, if you remember, a few days ago we discussed about those 2 days that Zelensky told Zaluzhny that he could retreat from this area, but not earlier than 2 days, and today is Friday. So we'll see if it was just the speculation or it was a real spoiler about the Lysychansk agglomeration situation. For now, that's it. Tomorrow we will discuss the Toshkovka, Gorsk, Zolotoy area. There weren't a lot of update on this territory, so tomorrow we will try to understand what is the main goals of the Russians by the end of the week, and we will try to clarify their goals for the next week and what are they are planning to do and they can do by the end of the next week. The same situation we will discuss about the Bakhmut area. What is the progress? For now, there are not much progress in this area, and just the same thing that was yesterday. The only one update, the West Sources map update according to the situation I told you yesterday. But we will try to understand what is the goals of the Russians for the next week in this area, and the same situation in the Avdiivka cauldron. What is their goals for the next week?